All right, everybody. Today is March 6th, 2023, and I want to welcome you to General Mentorship. I have a couple of announcements to make as we get started today. We have started sending out an email every Monday notifying you about what's going on General Mentorship or throughout the week. So you definitely want to take note of that. It'll let you know of any special events we have coming up. This week, we have a very special event. We're having Verilog present to us at 5 p.m. Arizona time. That's going to be 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I got that right. But it's in the email. And if you guys are interested in Verilog, we are going to have the actual creators of Verilog come and present to us. Now, we have two more RON platforms coming to present to us as well this month. We're going to have Blue Notary, which I have to say I'm extremely interested in because of the pricing model that they're offering. But there are some caveats to learning about these. So before you go out and rush out and purchase any of the platforms, please make sure that you know that we present them here at Notary Stars. We've already presented Cyberize It, big fan. We've presented eNotary Log, big fan. We've had others that have come on and then we've removed from Notary Stars. So if you're in our Notary Stars program, you are able to go back and compare these products and services that you might want to sign up for. Recently, we had Escrow Tab. If you haven't seen those two videos, please make sure to go back and watch them. They're on our YouTube page as well. Couple of things that I want to mention to get out of the way. And by the way, if you have brought questions specifically for today, please go ahead and get those virtual hands raised because as soon as I'm done with announcements, I'd love to go straight into your questions. Now, the first announcement actually comes from the Unlimited Ink Notary side of the business, which, by the way, is a complete and separate entity of its own. I do own that company, but Travis runs it. He's my business partner. I really, with Beth, run Notary Stars, spend more of my time here. And they are two different companies. Notary Stars is a training company that teaches you how to work with anyone throughout the country. Unlimited Ink Notary is a signing agency that I own, and it's a different ballgame. If you are in Albuquerque, Asheville, Austin, Birmingham, Boise, Boston, Charlotte, Charleston, Chattanooga, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus, Corpus Christi, Colorado Springs, Columbia, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, Detroit, Greensboro, Greenville, Houston, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Killeen, Knoxville, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, Northern Colorado, Oklahoma City, Orlando, of course, Phoenix, Portland, Raleigh, Reno, Richmond, Riverside, Sacramento, St. Louis, Salt Lake City, almost done, San Antonio, San Diego, San Francisco, Southwest Florida, Tampa, and Washington, D.C. If you are in any of those areas, please get your training up to date on Notary Stars because we are opening up. We're slowly rolling from the East Coast, strangely, to the West Coast. Texas will be our last market, but we have a client that has expanded. And in the Florida area, we're looking at hundreds and hundreds of orders. In those other cities, we're looking anywhere between 30 to 100 orders. So if I rattled off a city that you are nearby, you do want to make sure that your training is up to date because you only get one chance with Unlimited Ink really to make a good impression. So you want to make sure you've been through all the modules and really know what you're doing because that's the real-time deal there. All right, next announcement that I want to make really quick and just get it out of the way. If you own a website, you guys might have seen my little marketing video that I put out in the sign up. You have until Wednesday to sign up for that marketing adventure that we're going to be doing. If you are in my Notary Stars Plus marketing course, no need to sign up. You'll be automatically registered. But if you own a website, I will promise you this. No one will ever teach you search engine optimization the way that I will. I have some of my marketing students on here today. You guys give some virtual waves and claps. I will show you how to make your website come up where you want it to. It is $99 to attend that course. And why do I charge? Because you'll never have to pay anybody else again for any of that knowledge. I can teach you in about 3 hours everything that you need to be able to do on your website and tell you if you need to be able to switch your website from whatever you've built it on. So all of my Notary Star Plus marketing students, they're doing really great, thriving in the search engines. You can do it too, but it is a charge for that course if you're at the Notary Star level or just a friend of Notary Stars. But that will be on March the 11th at 2 p.m. Arizona time. So we've already got one hand raised there, and that's the end of the announcements. Mr. Butch, I'm going to let you kick us off today with your first question there.
Yes, Ronnie, I'm doing different zip codes. Now, I know you said that if you copy and paste, Google doesn't like that, but I'm using the same text. Let's say that I'm power of attorney in Surprise, then I want to do power of attorney in Sun City. Can I use the same context, but just change those zip codes? Would that be okay?
So what Mr. Butch is talking about, because this might be out of the ballpark for a lot of the students here, we're actually in general mentorship today. That's more of a marketing student, advanced level. What is Mr. Butch talking about here? And I want to explain to you guys, because if you are working on a website, I want this to make sense to you as well, whether you take my course or not. Google does not like it when you copy and paste text. So if you go out and you copy from another website and you paste it onto your website, even though it might sound great and it might look good, that is going to downgrade you in the way Google looks at you, because it wants fresh, new, organic, well-written information. So you can't really go out and just copy and paste. Now, Butch, what you're talking about is a list of zip codes that you're servicing, or documents that you might be servicing. That is okay if you're copying and pasting those zip codes that you want to do. You're just individually copying those zip codes, or even a string of zip codes. That's not going to get you penalization. What's going to get you penalization is if you go out and copy an entire article or text about documents from another website that somebody already wrote, and then they put them on your website. That's where it's going to cause you a problem, and get your site pushed down in the rankings, because you're coming second, and it's also going to be cheating. Google doesn't really like cheating.
Okay, Ronnie, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Gary, you slid up there. I don't know if your hand popped up there. Did you have a question today? Okay, there we go. All right, guys, this is your hour, and I know all of you wouldn't be here right now unless you had some questions. Mr. Anthony, you actually wrote in a few questions to me before the training on text. And if you don't mind, I can answer some of those here with you right now, if that's okay.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, let's see. One thing that Mr. Anthony wrote in about is, and he's going to have to do this now, I do control a lot of the Notary Stars Plus marketing, Google business profiles. And one thing that notaries run into is when Google has to do a video interview in order to, or a video call in order to kind of verify your listing. Has anybody else out there had to go through a video verification? I'm just looking for virtual hands to go up there. So what that is, it's a new way. And if you're wondering why they're doing this, I see Miss Odessa did it. Miss Odessa, do you want to tell us what happened when you did that video call? You got to unmute there.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so what I did, the video call, she actually wanted to see my workstation. So I had to show her where I worked and the printer, my scanner, and then I had to go outside and show her the car that I drive and my tags.
Okay.
And that was about it.
Thank you, Miss Odessa. Now, when you make that Google call, you want to be prepared to be in your home office and be able to walk out to your car and show those things. I've had notaries go, why do I have to show my car tag? Or why do I have to show these things? And I'm going to tell you my best guess stitch effort of what Google is doing. Number one, back in the day, I used to open up multiple Google listings with my friends' houses, or, you know, anybody that wasn't a notary. I'd be like, can I just get your address verified so I can expand to the city? I learned that actually from Airbnb, who used to have all of their hosts create a listing for each one of their Airbnbs, and it expanded Airbnb very quickly. But what my best guess effort of why they're doing this right now is actually to prevent a lot of things like drug businesses, human trafficking. There's a lot of ways used to where they could set up fake businesses and all those sorts of things. Now they're actually verifying that there's a legitimate business out there. Let's see. I want to go through Mr. Anthony's because he had quite a few good ones here. Regarding the hiring list, do I have a script or a certain way that I would when I call them to get hired? So really great question, Mr. Anthony, and I'm glad that you're here today because it prompted me to go over these questions. Now, if you guys are going through our hiring list or anybody's hiring list out there and you're reaching out to signing agencies, here's something that I will tell you that you need to think of first, okay? Don't just email every signing agency out there because a lot of them are not going to have business in your area. Now, we just got through a big refi boom, so you know a lot of the names of the signing agencies that we're reaching out to that have business in your area. They might be slow now, or they may have a fewer files. Look for the signing agencies that actually have a pulse in your area. Now, during COVID, I said, 20, 30, 40, 50 orders. They may be down to 10 a month right now. If you're not getting those orders, what you really want to do is monitor for the next 2-3 months who's actually sending you the most orders, even if you're not getting them, right? That's who you want to reach out to. That's who you want to set your sights on. What did they need from you? And here's the script that I would say. Number one, there was a thing on the internet for a while that said, I do not miss a dates, initials, or signatures. Please do not put that in your email or text because so many put that and then so many did. And it just makes you look bad because we're all going to miss something, okay? You want to be honest with those that you reach out to. I would start out with, hi, my name is Ronnie Mickle. I've taken Notary Stars and Notary to Pro and the National Notary. List it out in order of what you took it and what you learned from it. And tell them, I'd like to help you service this area the best. Make sure you include whatever area you're servicing. I'd love to help you with stellar service. I'm perfectly prepared to go out and conduct loan signings. Let them know if they have a mobile printer, a mobile scanner. Let them know everything that could get you hired. And you want to keep it into a paragraph no bigger than this. Coming from somebody who owns one, now two companies, I don't have a lot of time when you're running a business, and you guys run businesses, you don't have a lot of time to read long emails. And that's coming from somebody who writes a lot of long emails. So I apologize to you guys, but I'm always trying to shove in everything that you might miss for Notary Stars. And I don't want to send 1,000 emails. So I try to get it all into one email. You guys are trying to get hired. So you can attach a resume. Another thing that I want to point out to you guys that this goes right along the same vein of that is I see notaries consistently CCing me on communication with multiple title companies and multiple signing services. Well, if you ping 2 local signing services that don't want the same notaries working for them, kiss one or both of them goodbye. You need to send individual emails and just don't run the risk of BCC, okay? Write those individual emails. And here's another hint. If you have a Gmail, you have the ability to schedule an email to go out at a certain time. Okay, try to schedule your emails when you know you're going to be free in case somebody picks up the phone and calls you right away. That's a little tip that I use when I'm marketing direct to title. Don't send your emails, okay? And this is something that I do teach in my marketing class. But if you're marketing to a signing agency, end of day and beginning of the day is the wrong time to send an email, okay? When I come in at work at 5 o'clock in the morning at Unlimited Ink Notary, the last thing I want to do is hear from you. I love you guys, but unless it is file related, because I'm looking at the previous night, were there any errors? Did all the notaries ship their documents? That first 3 hours that I'm at work, really difficult, okay? You send me an email around 10, 11, 12, that's like, hey, I'd like to work with you. Then you've got my full attention probably for the rest of the day. Same thing works for title. They're coming in the morning. They're looking at everything that happened. Can I get my loans funded? And then end of day gets really busy as well because we have to schedule all those orders before title goes home because they want to know that their orders got scheduled. So timing on your emails is a really really good thing as well. Let's see. Okay, this is another really great question. I appreciate all these questions, Mr. Anthony, because these are things that I'm glad that you're here because I'm loving doing this with everyone. Photos on pages, platform pages. You asked, did I get those done by a company or did I take them myself? My personal notary photos were actually taken by me. Okay, so I took them myself. I do want to let you guys know, okay? It is okay to use a filter. I am using one right now. You probably don't want to see me without one. And so if you want to doll up your photos a little bit, realtors do it all the time. Title and escrow know that they do it. Pretty much anybody that looks so perfect has been dolled up and fixed at some point. And we're just gotten used to looking at each other through rose-colored glasses these days. You really want to use a photo of you, okay? And there is a point where it gets too dolled up. If you are adding sparkles and butterflies and flowers to your photos, take them off. You're going beyond professional. Taking a photo nowadays is very easy, okay? And I'm just going to give you a couple of tips. Number one, get on a white background. And all of you have access to a white wall. It doesn't matter if that wall has stains on it, because I know there's some stains on walls in this house. I got 2 puppies and I play football with them and we knock things over. So, you know, it's life, right? We don't have perfect things in our life. So you don't need something perfect. You just need a white enough background. You want to put on something nice, make yourself look nice. And if you can't take a selfie and you don't know how to angle and do those, and please don't do duck face, you know, where you're posing for Instagram, you know, the kind of photos that get people cold and they're and under the Christmas tree. Get you a nice professional photo where you're smiling, you show your face, showing who's going to show up at that appointment. If you can't take it, you all have a good friend, you all have a neighbor, a child, somebody that does. And if you know, if you're 40 plus and you have a child, they know how to take a photo nowadays. They probably know how to take them better than all of us. So get them to take a couple of photos for mommy or daddy. And then what you do is you pop them into Canva and you do background remover. Okay. Then you can add a nice solid background that goes with what you're doing. It's a very easy process. You can Google background remover in Canva. And then you got a photo that you can slide onto anything. You can put it up in your profiles. And here's a suggestion. I say take a few of you maybe like pointing at something or pointing down in case you want to use them on, like, click the link below if you're building your website. But you have the ability to do those, and they're very easy once you get them done. You can run them through Canva one time and then that's it. Okay. If you're looking to touch them up, my preferred app, Facetune, never fails. Okay. I look like a movie star when I come out of there. I love it. And then let's see.
Excuse me, Ronnie, did you say Facetune?
Yeah, Facetune is the app that I use. There's a million of them out there,
Okay.
but I personally use Facetune. You can get it for, I think, for like $19.99 for a year or $7.99 a month, but it does pretty well. And what I like is it doesn't tune anything. But I will tell you, if you guys ever see, unless you've seen me in person, it has been touched up. I have no shame. I'm like Dolly Parton, okay? It's either been pulled back, brushed over, or plumped up in some way, because, you know, I'm fighting age just like everybody else on this planet. And I feel better when I look at myself through a filter. But, you know, when you're doing your professional photos, I wouldn't go out and spend a lot of money on them if you're brand new into the industry. Now, if you're banging it out and you are one of those 6-figure notaries, and yes, there are still 6-figure notaries even in a downturn market right now, you may want to invest in some professional photos and captions and things to go on things, but you don't need that starting out. You can get those professional like photos very easily. In fact, if you guys have seen Abraham Zamora's podcast, I happen to know for a fact he took those on a green screen, and it looks like he's, you know, sitting in, you know, a professional photo setting there. So anybody have any questions about those 2 topics that we went over with Mr. Anthony? And Mr. Anthony, we will get that scheduled up for your Google call. All right, Miss Beth, anything you want to add in on those 2 topics there?
No, I am creatively challenged. Yeah, I can't even take a photo. So filters are good for me.
Awesome. Miss Veronica, you got your hand raised there. We'd love to hear from you. And guys, get those hands virtually raised, because we would love to hear from you today.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, so I just got in, but I heard a little bit about the printers, and I'm not sure the scanners, and I'm wanting to have a mobile one in my car, portable one. So is there a video that we can look up, like how to set that up in your car?
Absolutely. And there's a video on our YouTube page, and I'm going to actually just share my screen here really quick. I'd like to direct all of you to the YouTube page proper so that you can actually see how this works. So if you actually go to YouTube, and I'll share this and show you exactly where it is. We've actually set up our YouTube page to have all of the free sessions that we've done. So when you're in YouTube, if you just look up Notary Stars, and then you go to our YouTube page, and I'm going to stop that video that automatically plays there. So that'll tuck you through everything. But if you scroll down, you'll see all of our general notary work training, any of our free loan signing agent training. What we have here is a series of videos called Notary Stars Unlimited. And if you go over to Are You Really a Mobile Notary here, that's going to actually go over the different options that you have as to set up mobile printing in your car. And we did it from different perspectives. So we had Edie, who has an inverter. We had, myself, who just carries their printer in. So you can get a good perspective of what's there. And by the way, if you make your way to our YouTube channel, don't forget to click to subscribe. I can't not say that when we get there, but all of those videos are there to help you. And that's the one you're looking for right there. It's called Are You Really a Mobile Notary?
Okay. I have one more question.
Absolutely.
Okay, so with the scanner, will it take different size paper, like legal and letter at the same time? Because that's like probably more important to me.
Great question. The scanner that I recommend, which is the Epson ES 500, that's also found on the Notary Stars suggested scanners under resources. That scanner will automatically detect the size of the paper and it won't cut it off. So it depends on the model, but I know that the Epson ES series does auto detect. And I recommend the ES 500 because it's my best friend over there. I use her a lot. But you might get a different model. You just need to ask them if it's a different model outside of the Epsons. But all of the Epsons that I know will auto detect the size of the paper.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have a brother ADS 2700 and it auto detects. And sometimes we end up with those funky little size A4 pages. So you can also just set it on legal size and it will take care of everything. So choices.
Okay, thank you.
This brings me to something that I'd love to mention in this as well, Miss Beth. I'm so glad that you mentioned that funky size paper. Every now and then during a loan signing, especially for you new guys, you veterans probably have already experienced this. Every now and then there will be this one piece of paper in a loan signing that is not, it'll stop your printing because your printer doesn't recognize the size of the paper. And you'll go back and you'll print again, and you'll go back and you'll print again. What you have to do is realize to go in and check the size of that sheet where it's stopping and convert it to a letter size or a legal size, depending on what it is. And then try printing for the page afterwards. Sometimes it might be 2 or 3 pages, but I'm glad you mentioned that because we just had this happen with a notary at Unlimited Ink, and God bless them, they tried to print it 30 times before they called, and we were able to tell them what happened and how to fix it. But I'm glad you brought that up because that is something that all signing agents have to look out for, is that mysterious one sheet that kind of messes up our workflow.
Yeah, I just had one of those and I've literally, when my printer stops and I know it hasn't completed the full print on the package, I know it's looking at an A4 sheet or a funky size sheet, and I'll just open up my manual feed tray, put in a legal size paper, and the manual feed doesn't read paper size. So it'll just print it and then it'll continue printing the rest of the package after that. So one sheet, legal size in your manual feed tray, and hit go on your printer face and you're done. That's all you have to do.
That's good. Maybe we should do a community tip on that, Miss Beth.
Okay.
That would be really great. Miss Veronica, did that answer your questions for today?
Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I'm glad you were here today.
Oh, thanks.
Now we have Miss Eva coming up next.
Hello, everyone. Ronnie. And
Hi.
Ronnie, you look handsome.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You know what? That little problem you had, one thing that I had learned to do is, one company told me, go back out to your print and choose paper size and to make sure you take out print on both sides and it'll automatically print for you. I used to have that problem with this one company. And she said, well, you would just go to print and unclick everything and it'll come right on out. So yeah, it come out on letter size, but it won't cut anything off.
Okay. My biggest problem would be if it's mixed letter and legal, you have to be able to, I mean, maybe for that company, but if you're working with multiple companies and that it's not that particular company, if you wouldn't want to do that and print the rest of them on letter if it's supposed to be on legal.
Yeah, but I just had that problem the other day, and I'm like, I mean, I had it before, but this one company, I'm like, what's going on? And it was the last page, and when I went in, I knew I can fix it differently, but she said no, fix there's the uncheck everything, and there it went. So just a FYI.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome.
And then Mr. Anthony, you have your hand raised there.
Yes. What was it? I'm in the YouTube platform. What was the name of that video you just
It's called Are You Really a Mobile Notary?
mentioned about the training on that printing thing? I'm trying to find it. I didn't see it.
It's called Are You Really a Mobile Notary?
Are you really a noble motor?
Yep. And I'll share the screen again here just to show you. So if you are on our YouTube channel, so you have to actually go look for Notary Stars. And then when you get to our YouTube channel, you'll see these bars of training here.
Right.
And then it's going to be under the Notary Stars Unlimited, and it's the 4th video over.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
Mobile.
Are you really a mobile?
Oh,
notary?
there it is. Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. I'll actually share it into the chat now for everybody, just in case anybody is looking for that, because it seems to be a hot topic today. There you go. I put that into the chat for everybody if you're interested in looking for that. And then our next question coming up is from R. Are you ready?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How you doing? My name is Reggie. I'm in Florida. And I've been a notary for over a year. And I've gotten a lot of business, but I'm really trying to get into Ron. So, I've done the whole thumbtack thing where I go on and I let people know that they can do it remotely. And I'm trying to see, if anybody had any suggestions in terms of what I can do to just get more business in terms of Ron, because I like the idea of not having to leave the comfort of my home and the customer not leaving the comfort of theirs. But most importantly, giving them a full option that will work no matter what.
Yes, so I do actually have some input on this. Okay, so first things first, let's divide our business into 2 halves, right? We have title and escrow, and we have the general public, right? The first thing is, and we just did an episode on this with Escrow Tab and eNotary Log, where we talked about how do we market to our signing agencies and title and escrow companies if we have a platform, right? One thing is you're going to have to kind of still do some field work where you're letting title companies know, like, hey, if you need a Ron notary, this is my platform and I need you to get that approved so I can help you. And I'm also just down the street. That's going to help you a lot if you're trying to really focus on the Ron business. Okay. You may want to work it in with doing some field work with them and let them know, like, my real direction is I really want to do this online and I want to build up that business. You will need to also market on social media channels as well. Let those real estate agents and those realtors and lenders and all those people who are also marketing their business know, get in there and have their conversation, with them. Get in there and market to them. Now, let's take this one step further, okay? In my marketing course, which I'm definitely plugging because it's there, I teach my notaries how to build landing pages for each zip code, city, And then also for if you're a Ron notary, my marketing course is definitely one you want to take. The same way that Notarize markets to Phoenix and Tampa and all these places at the same time are what I teach in my marketing course. And we actually just learned how to do that. So it is not an overnight process to get into every zip code and every city name and you're looking at probably a year to 2 years to take on the entire country. Unlimited Ink just started the process doing exactly what Notarize is doing. We've been able to get in a month 458 landing pages indexed between Florida and Arizona, some in California, and we're going to continue to go. If you're a Ron notary, your next thing is going to be to compete. And I will tell you, I will tell you this too. I just signed up for Blue Notary just to test it out. I've tested out a lot of the platforms and they have a thing. Now, I know a lot of you have tried it and I know why it's happening. So I'll mention this here, or at least I think I know why. We'll learn more on the presentation. But it's blown my mind how many general notary appointments I've seen come out and say that they're already been taken from Blue Notary. And what I do know is in a call, it was mentioned that they have an in-house staff handling those, but they're looking to build up. But it's actually blown my mind how many I've seen come in. And let's see, let me see if there's a little do not share on these emails, because I guarantee you there's one into my inbox now. Nope, there's not, but let's see, all mail. I'm just going to go to how many came in today. 15, 16, 18 emails came in today for general notary work. So that's if you were the one notary who got those, they
On Blue Notary?
Yeah, on Blue Notary. Now, I know nobody's going to get them right away because I know that it was said to me that their in-house staff is handling that right now, but they're building up that business. But if one notary was to have to do all of those and you got 22 times 22, that would have been a $484 day. And that all happened today. Those all came in since 9 o'clock this morning. So I do know that there are people out there clicking to go through. The biggest thing that notaries are going to have to do, and I'm learning how to do it right now at Unlimited Ink Notary, is Notarize has us beat in one respect. I can teach you guys how to build landing pages. The problem is that they can go click here and start your process. With all other platforms, you have to go out and find a notary, get it signed up, that sort of thing, or schedule an appointment. With Notarize, it's just sign up now and get it done. But we're working on figuring out how to compete with that component of it. But I don't think it will slow down anyone competing. And I want all of you to learn how to compete on a national level that are Ron notaries, because your audience is no longer the 80 or the 20 zip codes that surround you. When you're a Ron notary, it's the entire country and then the world. As long as you speak the same language as those signers. And think of how many people are in the military that have to do signings. All the US military that's out there traveling right now for our country, and they're stationed in different places, they can, they're going to be big customers for us. All the people that are traveling and have to get things done are going to be big customers for us. Mr. Reggie, did I answer all your questions there?
Yeah, you did. I just recently started to follow you. I definitely like you a lot better than the six-figure person. And no disrespect to him, shout out to him. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm definitely trying to do my best, and I'm also a wedding officiant here in Central Florida. So have you ever done a wedding? Is that something that you're interested in? And then that's it. I'm done.
Yes, actually, thanks for asking. So we do have Mark Grolier coming on to present to us again on March 21st. If you are interested in becoming a wedding officiant, I honestly think it's the best course out there. He's out of Canada, but he has a class called the Unboring Wedding. You can go out and already look at that. Have I done a wedding? Yes, but I've actually, and I tried to do a challenge, but I'm so busy I wasn't able to do the challenge or follow up on it. So if you see that video where I did the challenge, I'm sorry, it didn't meet my own standards there. But I have done plenty of weddings in the past, but here's the truth. I became a wedding officiant, so my best girlfriend said she was never getting married until they passed gay marriage because she didn't want any of her friends to be left out. They passed gay marriage, and she was the first one in line to get married. So I became a wedding officiant to officiate her wedding. From there, I only helped anybody that asked me, but I didn't charge them in my method because I don't need any additional income at the moment. Anybody that's ever asked me to marry them, I've done probably, I don't know, maybe, I think I've done around 50. But this is how people pay me. So I own 3 tuxedos, and if you don't like those tuxedos, you need to rent me what you want me to wear. I need travel to and from. I don't care if it's in the same city. I am not going to drive myself. That day you are going to have me travel to you. If it's on a plane, I don't care. You pay my travel to and from. I will not do a wedding unless you believe in alcohol, and I will stay sober until you say I do. And then I get all the food and liquor I can drink, because you know what they say, weddings and funerals. So I go and I'm the drunk priest after, or the drunk minister after, not a priest, because not that kind of priest, but I'm the drunk minister after, and I go and have fun. And then I need my, of course, a place to stay and a taxi to get home, because I'll be hungover the next day. So I've actually had a lot of fun doing weddings, but you can do them however you want to. And I know that Abraham Zamora, he's really working that into his podcast, because he's getting built up more and more for weddings. So make sure to follow Abraham Zamora's The Notary Entrepreneur, because he's also working in building up his wedding officiant business.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And then Miss Eva, you've got your hand raised there again.
Hey, Ronnie, thank you. When you had mentioned all those different cities that you're coming to because you're getting more clients that's going to this area, what training are you saying that need to be updated? Be up to par.
You want to make sure that you have done your Notary Stars training and that you're ready to roll. Because Unlimited Ink, I know that I see a lot of Unlimited Ink notaries on here today. They'll tell you it's high maintenance, and I have no shame in saying that, because I've built a good signing agency and a viable solution for clients. So part of the thing that we promise at Unlimited Ink Notary is that we're going to do that quality control. And there's only a few times where you're going to really bust a file open in the wrong way, and they won't use you anymore. My team makes their own favorite notary list.
Okay. Is there a list of all the training that needs to be done?
Yes, modules 1 through 6 for sure.
1 through 6. Okay.
Everything else is gravy. You do want to continue on after modules 1 through 6, but you definitely want to know the concepts of modules 1 through 6.
Okay. All right.
And then
thank
you. And then, I do want to mention this to you guys as well. A lot of people are saying that it's, a downturn market and that people are not hiring, but I do want to let you guys know this. So we had a West Coast manager at Unlimited Ink Notary, and I'm going to tell you, big secret, but it ain't that big. Our West Coast manager for accounts is just a notary like you and me. There's nothing different about them. I mean, likable fella. Our East Coast manager we brought on January 1st. She was the president of the largest title company in Florida. She decided that she really believed in what we were doing at Unlimited Ink Notary, and she left her job and took a commission-only job. And since January 1st, we're now on March 6th, she has brought in 30 clients to Unlimited Ink Notary out of the Florida area. And she recently decided to take a personal trip. She bought a Tesla from her sister, like somewhere over in the Northwest, and decided to drive that back. And she stopped in every major city that she could and got a client for Unlimited Ink in Ohio, clients in Texas, clients that I've been vying for a long time. She walked in and right in and got them. I'm not able to get out and walk into title companies anymore. We have over, I stopped counting at 250. It's over 300 clients at Unlimited Ink Notary right now, and our account managers are going out and grabbing up. You guys have that ability. You know, you have to walk in to go get business. They're waiting for you. And I will tell you, I will say this for sure. I have had just as many escrow officers out there tell me that they would rather work with one individual notary than work with an entire company. There are plenty of escrow officers out there that are like to micromanage their files. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They want to know who's servicing their file. They don't want a queue of 50 notaries. They want one notary or 5 notaries to service, and that's all they want to do. It is harder to work with them at some times because I've been one of those notaries. When I worked for Fidelity, I was one of 2 servicing hundreds of files a month. And sure, I was making 15 grand a month at the time, but it was also hard because if I didn't show up on Saturday or Sunday, or I took too much time off, there was a consideration that they would find another notary that would be there. So you got to figure out what works for you. But if you want to make that higher amount of money and you want to get paid faster and you want all of those things, then you have to go direct at some point. And that's where you put your training and your experience into play so that you can get those direct clients. If you've never walked into a direct client, then today is March 6th. You've got all week. If not, plan it for next Monday before general mentorship time and come back and tell us how it was. If you've never walked into a direct client, between now and next Monday, lay out your best outfit. Tell yourself that you feel great. And if we have smokers out there, because I am a smoker and I'm a shameless smoker, I'm probably going to smoke till the day I die. I've tried so many times to quit, but most people don't know that I smoke unless they know me really personally. When I go out in the field, I wear a patch. When I go to conferences, I wear a patch. Nobody knows that I smoke. And people go, wow, I never knew. If people don't like cigarette smoke, I will tell you that. I learned that a long time ago while I was building this company. If you're going to go in and vie for business, or you're going to work in title or sometimes be in their office, you need to wear a patch. Best advice I can give anybody that smokes cigarettes or cigars or anything. Hate to take it down a dirty road, but there are people who smoke cigarettes and don't want people to know, or don't think that they smell like it. You do. And I did too. So the one thing I learned was to wear a patch. I don't smoke in my house, don't smoke around my clothes. Once I get out of the shower, I put that patch on because your hair will take it with you. And anybody who doesn't smoke smells it. So not to scare you if you are a smoker, but there is a process. Maybe I should write a blog article about how to get away from cigarette smoke. And I learned this from a woman who smoked for 20 years that nobody knew she smoked. She actually taught me how to not ever let anybody know, because it is a bad habit. We all know it. Anyways, let's get off of that topic. But between now and Monday, lay out your best outfit and walk into a title company and tell them about yourself. Put your resume together, take a business card. One thing I'll also tell you about that is if you are planning on going direct, you will need $1 million insurance policy. If you do not have $1 million insurance policy, you're just going to be playing tag to get that client. You do want to walk in with $1 million policy. Most title companies are going to require you to have it. Anybody that's going to go direct big time, you might as well go ahead and get it now. That's just the way that it is. We got about 15 minutes left, guys, and I know that you guys have questions. I would really love to see some more hands go up. Oh, there we go. Miss Stilicom, how are you doing today?
Hi, Ronnie. I'm very good. Thank you. I have a comment and a question. A comment is regarding the funky size, printing the funky size paper.
Mhm.
And I think this was already suggested, but I found the solution on my own. With the first few times I came across it, it was frustrating, not knowing what was causing the printer to just stop, in the middle of printing. So then what works, and this is an easy fix for me, is just to go uncheck the print by page size and then just select fit.
Okay.
And that's it. And then you just print that particular section that is almost always, it's like a brochure that they're including something about, whatever type of loan they're taking. And so once that's done, then again, resume. I have to again make sure that I get it back to print by page size and then continue as usual. But that is the simplest option. And and because of that, I've also learned not to print the entire package because it is a pain to go through the document to see where it stopped. So I print maximum 30 pages at a time. So I print in sets of 30. So if that happens, I know exactly, at least which section of the document I need to go and look page by page to find that funky page or the start of the funky page. It's almost always more than one page. So
That's actually a really good idea. I can't say that it would work for me because I'm kind of impatient and I usually like to hit print and walk away.
yes. Yes.
I usually go in to get coffee while the documents are printing. But that's actually a really good idea as well, especially if you don't want to waste paper.
Yes, because I've done that too. But as you said, I'm a beginner, so I don't have, my time is not, I have more time than work. So that works, that I can do it 30 pages or a maximum 50 pages at a time, but not otherwise.
Save you on cost.
Yeah. And my question is regarding this company that has been sending me steady work, and it is all Heloc files. So the first file they sent was about 70 pages, which I thought was, my other Helocs have been less than 30. So I was a little surprised it was as big as it was. And then every file they gave me after that, there have been more pages. Until last week, I did my 5th file for them, 145 pages. And now I'm dreading the next offer. But it's like you said, they clearly have work in my area because none of them have been further than 20 minutes. And I think I'm their preferred because if I say yes, I get it immediately. So I'm loath to lose them, and I don't want to, but this is getting ridiculous. Like from 70 to 145 within 5 files.
So 5 files is not a really great sample size. I would say, and I hate to say this, you got to test the waters with this. I'd get to at least 20 files before I decided that this is how this is how they're all going to be. You may find that there are certain reasons why, it could be the lender that's offering the HELOC. They may have more than one lender. Some lenders may require, that they have a certain things in there that others don't require, because each lender decides what they need in that file in order to close it. So I would get a sample size.
These are direct. I think they're directly because the paperwork is for them.
Okay, so
yeah.
if
it's been increasing each file, so every file was bigger than the last one.
Another thing, and we've seen this at Unlimited Ink too. It could be that they allow the signers to pre-sign certain things and get that out of the way, and then they don't have to send those documents with them each time. There's a lot of variables. So what I would do is I would actually give it about a 20-page sample size. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what are they paying you per HELOC?
75.
75?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have to print 2 copies or 1 copy?
2.
2 copies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would do about a sample size of 20, 20. Make sure you knock those 20 out of the park. And then, when do they call to schedule or do they send them through a platform?
Zigzag.
Okay. So maybe what you can do is ask them if they might come up on the price after you get about 20 and say,
Okay.
hey, we've done about 20 orders together and these are a little bit, larger HELOCs than normal. Do you think maybe you could do 100 for me since they're 145, printed twice? Just try. I'd be very careful and make sure I spoke to someone that sounds like they're in a really great mood. And if they say no, the answer is no. And you then say, I'll take it if you want to continue to take it. But, remember, like Adele says, if you're gonna let me down gently. Don't you know? So if you do decide to break up with a client over fees, you never know when you're gonna absolutely need that revenue. So
Mhm.
be
I
careful.
don't want to because now I'm so familiar with their paperwork,
Mhm.
you
So
know, so,
I still have signing agencies that if I had time, I would work for, and most people won't work for them because of pages and rates and all those things. And it, it just depends on, right now, if you don't have much else,
mhm.
you may want to just bite the lip and do it. And then the way I've always done it is sometimes I'm just too busy, and I always say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my calendar's booked. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not available today." And you keep that good relationship for when you need that client on your calendar.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd like your suggestion. We'll
Ronnie,
do a
real
few
quick, can I
more.
touch in on this?
Sure, go ahead.
Just FYI for that individual, sometimes HELOCs, and I'm sure we all know this, they can be 76 pages, but at the midpoint, the second half can be all watermarked, where it's like borrower's copies. I don't know if this is the particular case, but I just thought that I would throw that out there.
Have you inspected that, Miss Telecom? Does halfway through, that is actually really good because that is true. Have you looked to see if the entire when you click print, is it half of it the borrower's copies? Because he's right, a lot of HELOCs come with borrower copies stamped across halfway through.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It actually is looking more and more like a refinance file. It's pretty much almost the same kind of documents,
Mhm.
but it's a HELOC as the deed is a HELOC, so.
Got it.
Yep.
I would try that approach to it. That's the best advice that I can give, unless Miss Beth wants to
No,
chime
that's
in on
good.
that as well.
Now, usually, HELOCs from lenders are smaller packages. And again, like Ronnie was mentioning earlier, I mean, we can do a HELOC from a bank as a bank product, which is what we see most of the time. There are mortgage companies, actual mortgage companies, that have a HELOC product, and their packages are going to be larger. But the only reason I can decipher why the package sizes are different is because you have a different title company and a different lender on those packages, and they're all going to have their own requirements or set of documents that are going to be different. So
I think you're right, but they are a mortgage company.
yeah. And that typically, if we get a HELOC from like Wells Fargo or Bank of America or Chase Bank, they're typically pretty small packages. But if we get SunWest Mortgage that's doing a HELOC, it looks like a refinance, but it's got, the HELOC account agreement and a HELOC deed of trust. So it might be just from a full-fledged mortgage company and not a bank product.
Right. Yep, I just checked and they are a lender.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Telecom. Now, Miss Beth, you had your hand raised too. And before you go, I just want to make this note. We're about up at the hour. We've got one hand raised after yours, Miss Beth. But guys, I'm going to be putting into the chat today a petition for remote online notarization in Arizona. You do not need to be in Arizona to sign it. We need your support, and it will also help you. So our Notary Stars Unlimited initiative this year is to start using our voices. I'm putting it in the chat right now. If you have not signed that petition, please sign it. Please share it with a friend or a family member and ask them to sign it too. This could happen to you, and we are going to show you that you can control your notary fees in your state. We've done it once before in Arizona. During COVID, they lowered our $25 RON fees to $10, which means no notary, unless it's a loan signing, can make a stitch of money. And this is not, self-serving. If this happens in your state, we'll be able to use this as an example of legislation getting passed. So please go in there and sign. We're at 340 signatures so far since we launched it a couple of weeks ago. With what we have on the call today and watching the replay, we could get to 1,000, by the end of the month, I hope. But Miss Beth, go ahead and chime in there. You had your hand raised.
I was just following up on the chat from ours. Comments or talking about the training. He wanted to know, is there a complete button for the training that he's doing the modules now? And actually, there is not a complete button. Ronnie, how do we track the training on the modules?
So 2 ways. Attendance to live classes are married with when you actually go to the module, we can see your IP address. We can't tell if you watch the entire video or not. It is a kind of an honor system after that, but we can also tell if you go to the module one time and you only spend 10 minutes, we know you didn't watch 9 hours of footage in that module. So I've had notaries come through, breeze through in a week, just click on each module and be like, great, I watched everything. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
So you have to attend live training as well.
Yeah, well, you can do it either way. You don't have to do it, but you should try to use that live training to your advantage as well. You know, some of it is an honor system, to be honest, and I always say the proof will be in the pudding at the end. So you want to do it, but we don't consider ourselves a certification or a completed course. We consider ourselves a continuing education course. That's why we have a low monthly fee for membership and training, because we don't believe that you can watch, 11 hours of footage and be a perfect loan signing agent. That just doesn't work. And we're there to hold your hand, throughout your career and get you the support that you need, no matter who you're working with. So Notary Stars is not a, one and done kind of take this test and you're the greatest. It's, continuing to groom your notary business and grow your notary business. And the only levels that we have now, some people may be on Notary Star Lite memberships, but we canceled those. We only have 2 membership levels now. It's the Notary Star, which is all the training for your loan signing agent training, any general notary work training, and then Notary Star Plus Marketing, where we teach you how to actually market your notary business. So there's a dividing line when it comes to marketing, because it's a completely different topic. And I always encourage people to finish that training at Notary Stars first so that they can focus on the marketing when they're ready.
And then one other chat question was from Kelly, and she wants to know if the modules have been updated.
Miss Beth, well, you should answer that one. I know that Miss Beth is consistently keeping an eye on what we have in there, and we have gotten files ready to refilm. We do update the modules, as often as possible when they need to be updated. But Miss Beth, did you want to comment on that as well?
I was just going to say, I don't think there's any information in the modules, even if they were filmed 2 years ago, that's changed. If the information changes, we update the training videos or the modules that EC 1 through 6. But currently, we're pretty static with any changes in the industry. So,
and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
because change is not good in our industry. Not always, anyway. We've got 2 last questions here. The last one is first one is from Miss Veronica.
Hello. It's about IPEN. I know that you had a video with the company. I forgot what the name was, but they were discussing how it works and everything. But if you have an iPad, is it different iPads for different companies that they're asking for? Is it just one type of tablet that you could use for different companies?
So great question. Let me answer this to the best of my ability, and I hope everybody will turn their ears on for this, because it is a very tricky world that we're navigating here. Okay. First of all, most RON platforms that you have already have IPEN capability. Okay. So if you have a RON provider, check with them first if you need to purchase additional software to do IPEN. Okay. Now, with that said, the company that presented to us is EscrowTab, and they have 3 products currently that they can host their software on. I don't know them off the top of my head right now, but you would be able to go back to that video that we have on Notary Stars and watch that video for EscrowTab. If you can't find it there, or you can go straight to them and just say, what are your 3 approved devices that you can use? If you purchase one of those approved devices, that is really up to you. But what you want to do is really look at that device and say, can I use my Ron platforms on it? Can I use it for work? Can I use that, that product? If you can't, then don't. You want to make a informed decision, and we'll be able to help you here once you do your, research. And if you say, I want to go with that, then come back and we can have a conversation about it. But I'm very weary, and I put out an article, which is the reason they came to present to us. I'm very weary about telling notaries like, hey, go out and buy this. This is why you never hear me say go out and buy. The only thing I've said go out and buy this whole year is my March 11th course, which you can still sign up for. I'm just plugging it again. But I don't say go out and buy things because I don't want to be responsible for notaries buying something and then not knowing how to use it or know how to get their investment back from it. But we did 2 videos with them, and I hope before you make any major purchases, you'll watch them both because they did the presentation for their software, but then we talked about how to sell those products to clients. And I think that's really important before you even invest in buying anything, to watch those 2 videos combined.
Okay, and one more question. So I know Amrock uses an IPEN tablet. Is it one that they recommend, or it's
They don't
just-
use an IPEN tablet. Nexus ClearSign is capable of IPEN. So when you do IPEN for Amrock, you're actually doing it on Nexus ClearSign. It looks exactly like you're logging in for a RON or a hybrid, and you set everything up and you do everything in person. The only thing that's different is it's not recorded.
Okay.
By the way, guys, I have a sneaky little thing that I do when I'm doing IPENs, because sometimes people, don't always listen. So I always tell them that it's being recorded anyway, so that the signers will like speak up and actually enunciate and say things. It's my sneaky little way of getting interaction. So I always say, although this is, we're connecting to your documents, this is being recorded, so I will need you to answer things out loud. It's just my sneaky little way of getting people to talk to me.
Thank you.
And then our last question from today comes from Miss Wanda Boyd out of California. Miss Wanda?
Hello, how's everybody?
Good. How are you?
I'm just standing. Question. I heard you mention about the Nexus ClearSign with Mortgage Connect.
Amrock.
Yeah, Amrock. Well, I have done some, but they've been like hybrid, and I haven't been able to do any more.
That's because Amrock, you can still electronically sign documents in California, but the notarized documents, you don't have any electronic approvals from what I understand over there at all for IPEN or RON. I mean, other California notaries can correct me on that, but I don't think anything electronics approved. They can do those hybrids with you where they can e-sign their paper docs that don't need to be notarized, but you still have to print out anything notarized. And then of course the market's slow right now. So you might have had a lot of those during COVID or the tail end of it, but right now Amrock's really kind of hurting.
I did. And another question I have, well, it's just a little thought. There's a tracker for when you're doing the training module. So what a person can do, well, I download it, and every time I complete a module, I put in my dates. And just a word of advice, if you call yourself just gonna go pull it up and look through it for a few minutes, you really cheat yourself because it's a lot of information.
Miss Wanda, I want to tell you something else I'd love for you to do with this training tracker, and everybody to do with the training tracker at Notary Stars. So when you've completed a level, within those levels, we have buyer, seller, refinance, commercial loans, agricultural loans. As you go through training, as you learn and comprehend a HELOC, make sure you're updating your profile saying, I understand buyer's files. I understand refinance files. I understand HELOCs. I understand commercial loans. I understand hard money loans. I understand closings in a trust. I understand power of attorney signings. I understand AKA and FKA language. Make sure you're letting the people who are going to hire you know that you understand all these different file types. I know sometimes when we, we know when we hire our notary stars at Unlimited Ink that they've been through that training and that they have had exposure to those things. But sometimes when people don't know you, they don't know, you can say that you did 500 files, but nobody knows if you really did 500 files. They don't know if those 500 files were from one client that only did, what does Coast to Coast do most of, loan applications. You want to make sure that you let your clients know in your profiles and as you go through. Now, don't go put things in there that you don't know how to do, like a reverse mortgage, because guess what? The proof is in the pudding. You go do an FHA loan and you don't really understand FHA and those additional documents and know where everything's at in those, you're going to get a ding against you. Don't advertise things that you don't know how to do, but that training tracker can help you determine what needs to go into your profiles of what you understand. You want to create a list of things that from that training tracker of what you really understand and what you're capable of doing.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're using it.
I appreciate all the information you guys are providing, and by me going through the modules, I see that you guys do put different changes in some of them. So it's good. It's great.
Yes, and what the changes you may see is as we go through, the way that I initially laid out Notary Stars is we started with the very simplest of files, and then we used those same files but added in documents for different file types. So sometimes it may feel like you're going through it, but what I learned when I went through my adult education program to become an educator was adults really don't have a lot of attention span like a child does, or you can't force them to learn. You guys are cooking dinner, you got family to think about, I'm sure somebody right now is worried about the laundry and if it's done yet, or what you're going to eat later, or if you can get your granddaughter to the church on time for her Sunday school lesson or Wednesday Sunday school lesson. We have a lot of things going on in our brain because we're running an entire life at this point in our lives. So the way Notary Stars works is it takes that same file and builds upon principles as you go through, so that way you can actually absorb that information. It is a lot and is inundating, but that's also why we give you so much time to do it, and we hope that you go through it. But I know people have been through it 2-3 times just to kind of make sure that they really grasp the concepts. And I always tell this to people too: if you need to go through it more than one time, there is no shame in that. I have to read a book 2-3 times before I get it. Like, I never tell anybody I've read a book until after I've read it 2 or 3 times, because I'm terrified they're going to ask me a question and I'll be like, did I read those 3 pages? I don't know. Sometimes people have to go through it more than once. We all learn at different paces and speeds, and that's okay.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, guys, I really appreciate you being here with us today. It means a lot to me. We've had a lot of people on the call today, and I tried to keep this, right at an hour for general mentorship. But now the time has come, and I would like for, if you are not naked and you are not stuffing your face with a sandwich right now, please turn on your cameras and wave to yourself, wave to those future notaries that will be watching this general mentorship, looking for any advice that they can get to better themselves. Wave to yourself if you come back and watch it. And Miss Beth, how do we say it here at Notary Stars?
Just remember to be kind. We're all in the same storm, guys, but we're not all in the same boat. Some of us have yachts, some of us have canoes, and some of us are actually in the water dog paddling. So just remember to reach back, grab a hand of another notary, help them out, take them with you along the journey.
Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week, and don't forget about all the special events that we mentioned in here today.
Bye, guys.